We're on?
Oh, yeah. Tastes kind of good.
It was smooth. yeah, real smooth. What is that, 40%?
Yeah, well, it's apple.
Oh.
Do you taste the apple?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it tastes like apple.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't actually had alcohol in a long time.
Me neither. It's been a while.
Maybe like a month. Is that a long time?
I don't think that's a long time. Aren't you like a week drinker or something? Don't you drink every week?
I used to go to breweries every week, and I still kind of I want to,
Yeah.
but just haven't since December was too busy, and then yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you know what Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas has been very busy.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna actually, if you guys are listening, I'm moving the mic up higher.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful day outside.
Is it?
Birds are singing.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Not a cloud in the sky.
No, no freezing weather. We don't live in zone 9 of the agriculture chart. We can grow everything all year round in this beautiful...
Yeah. It's basically Florida, if you remember what that is.
Yeah, it's basically Florida. Freedom, sunshine, people being decrepit.
Yeah, old people.
Yeah, because they're just sun-dried.
They're like
raisins.
Yeah. I've always... So, like, all right, you have a bunch of old people down in the old Florida.
Yeah.
They, why are they there, dude? Like, I get it. It's warm all the time. Like, you don't have to worry about, like, the AC or, well, the heat, right, as an old person. But, like, maybe because I'm not old, I don't fully understand. But why not move a little bit more north where you're out of the gators and the snakes?
You know, I heard somebody talk about it, and they said that the reason they go down there is something to do with, like, oxygen and breathing. Oh. Like, it's actually, like, because of where it's at, I don't know if it's the sea level or the equator...
Or the altitude.
Distant, yeah, or the altitude, something.
Yeah.
But it actually is easier to breathe.
Oh.
And so that's why the old people flock like a magnetic polarity.
See, I just assumed it was because old people don't like the winter, and the winter's cold, so they just go to warm.
Well, see, I thought that too, but now that I think about it more, I really do want to live in a place that causes suffering. Because then... Not only do I feel like I'm living and actually human, but without struggle, you just become complacent.
Yeah.
And that's like when I was last in Florida, I was like, man, why are these people just not cleaning up their yard? I mean, you have the best weather all year round, except for when it's raining, obviously.
Yeah.
Why are people just taking the initiative to just go out and have the best lawn possible? It's because it's too hot.
Yep.
You get tired. And you got, you know.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter, right? Yeah. You're out there, around in our zone. You know, you get winter eventually, and winter makes you appreciate the summer.
It's true.
And the summer, I don't know, for me, I like the winter for a little bit. I like to attempt snow sports. And, you know,
I built a snowman a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Straight
cool.
up.
How would you use? Did you use stuff or did you just...
Yeah, I used snow, and then I put sticks in the arms, and then I put carrot for a nose, and I used rocks for the eyes.
Damn.
Like a real snowman. I just, you know, I had this compelling need at my 25 years of age. I just woke up, I took my cold shower in the morning, and I was like, you know what? It's time to freeze my hands and build a snowman.
Damn. I ever tell you, I went down to Georgia, okay, and I was down there, it was the middle of winter, and it snowed. And it never snows. Yeah. Right? And these people, they don't know how to handle snow. So, like, the place I was working at, they shut down. And so I was just stuck there in, like, a snowy, like, wonderland where there's, like, I don't know, a couple inches of snow. And I drove by a McDonald's. And outside of this McDonald's, the employees were, like, celebrating the snow. And they were trying to build a snowman, but they didn't understand that you roll the ball. Mm-hmm. So they were just, like, shoving the snow into a big pile and forming it like clay.
I did that, too. Yeah, that's
really?
what I did. Yeah, because the snow wasn't packable. So I couldn't roll it. But it was wet enough so that I could just sort of form it in this awkward shape like clay.
Yeah. I feel like they could have, like, if they would have known how to make it, they could have done the snowball.
Yeah, they're newbies, so that's the problem.
Yeah, so I kind of just drove by them like amateurs. They don't even know how snow works.
Yeah, they don't even live in an area that has suffering and snow and cold and frigid temperatures, and you have to go out your car when your ass is freezing on your seat. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, imagine touching a steering wheel that's like -2 degrees.
Yeah, actually, I got one of those fur covers for my snow. Yeah, I don't got to worry about that anymore.
Really?
Yeah, good investment. Highly recommend. Sheep, fur, whatever, wool. Yeah, that is perfect.
I was thinking it was leopard print, but you know.
Yeah, no, leopard print would look sexier, but more risque.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm trying to go monk mode, so I don't want to get horny from my steering wheel.
Your morning drive just becomes a lot more interesting.
Yeah, and it becomes a battle of do I or don't I while driving.
Yeah. So, all right, you've been on the chastity belt.
Yeah.
The chastity pill. Yeah,
after going full Ouroboros, I decided to go chastity. So we're going celibate for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to charge up until my third eye opens on my forehead.
I see something forming up there.
Do you see it? It's lighter than the rest of my... It's because the iris is forming.
Yeah.
Steadily.
Yeah. So, what do you think of the birds?
Yeah, so as far as the birds go, I read Oedipus Rex a couple days ago. And one of the interesting things in there is they talked about ornithomancy, I think is what it's called. Mm-hmm. And it's that they used to tell whether things were fortuitous by the birds. There used to be people that would just walk around and be like, oh yeah, those birds are flying? Yeah, it's going to be a great day today. That's exactly what it was. It was like, oh, there's 2 birds? That means that you're going to have a boy.
Wow.
3 birds? It's going to be a girl.
Damn.
4 birds? Your grandma's going to die.
At this exact moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Damn.
It's kind of crazy. I never... so like when they say under the auspices of... That was actually in reference to the birds, under the auspice of the birds and how they act and what's happening to them. Yeah. Which, in a way, isn't that crazy because, you know, birds are going to react to weather. So if they're going fucking crazy, maybe a volcano is going to happen.
That's true. Or like a storm.
Yeah, or a storm.
You know, something easy.
Something bad. Like, oh, the bird's going crazy today. Gotta worry about those rocks flying from the sky.
Exactly. Gotta die. Hey... Just so you guys know, can you get the volcano kit out?
Yeah.
And, like, just make sure the house is prepped.
Can somebody throw a tarp over that? I really like that statue, but it's going to get fucked up. By this hail and fire and brimstone.
They're like, oh, did you see the birds today? Oh, I missed them.
Yeah. Oh. Is somebody feeding the birds? We need them right now. I need to consult them. Apollo's not getting to me.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so I did some, I heard about this thing, okay, where there's been no gay people in history, right?
Yeah.
There's never been anybody gay except, like, I'm probably going to get this wrong because I'm terrible remembering names, but, you know, Caesar, wasn't he, like, kind of gay?
As far as I know, during the decline and fall of the Roman Empire, there was a bunch of gay people in the high, rich areas, from what I understand.
So I think at some point, it was written in the history books that whenever Caesar's best friend died, he took like 3 months of mourning where he cried and like didn't want to see anybody. It seems a little bit like a breakup, right? And you can see this everywhere in history. Like there's a painting of 2 nude guys just staring at each other, like within a few feet of each other. The painting's called Comrades. Now, they don't seem like comrades. They seem a little bit deeper than, you know?
You know what? I think you might be conflating with the over-sexualization we have today, the true, beautiful love that stems from bros. I mean, can you imagine, like, back then, like, not only, like, or now it makes sense, right? If you see somebody doing stuff, everything's over-sexualized. It seems like, you know, two guys kissing is immediately gay. Yeah. But, like, back then, they had to fight for their survival, dude. Yeah. Like, they had to work hard to live. And then they're going and raising cities and salting fields together. Yeah. I'd probably be mourning for a couple months if my bro who I slept with in the cold and the frigid temperatures and killed other men with. Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Remember that time that we pillaged that village?
Yeah, pillaged that village, bro. And had children with all the women unconsensually.
That's right, yeah.
Together as bros.
Dude, I got like 4 children out of that one.
Yeah. Honestly.
My seed has been spread.
They're trying to... I think that society now doesn't leave room for the true fraternal nature of men.
That's true.
To have really close brotherhoods.
I think that... Yeah, we're too, like, I think we went through a phase, right? Here's what keeps happening. At least it feels like it from history, right? You go through a phase of, like, oh, gay people bad, and it goes down to, like, gay people ultra bad, okay, kill gay people. And then eventually people are like, okay, maybe gay people aren't that bad, okay, let's go up a little bit. Up, all right, now we're at a normal level. Now we're like, okay, gay people good, gay people great. And then it's going to go back down again.
Yeah, I think everything has an ebb and flow.
Yeah.
Just like... There's these dichotomies of life in the sun and the moon. Mm-hmm. I think everything just naturally has a rise and a fall.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's going to have to be some sort of solution to keep people alive. Because if they all just go gay, then they're not going to have children. So, yeah.
Well, you still could.
I mean...
You just have your bro there with you, like, talking you through it. Your comrade.
It's true.
He's there with you, and he's like, come on, you can do it.
Yeah, you got this.
Come.
Breathe.
Come.
Anyway. So, speaking of the modern day, we should probably continue our conversation about you suffering in the shackles, the fetters of overstimulation.
I am very overstimulated.
You're so stimulated that you can't even think during a normal day.
I feel like I have dementia, and it's because I think the reason why I feel like I have dementia is because literally nothing happens in my day, so I can't remember what happened the day prior, because in my head, nothing eventful happened. Mm-hmm. So I've started to like write a journal, and I go like, okay, what happened today? This is going to be weird, like, journal. I kind of looked up a guide on how to journal.
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, like, subjects you can write about in a journal. So, I do, like, what I'm appreciative for, how much hours I wasted in a day, which is always, like, 6 or 7, at least. And then, if I cooked anything, what I cooked, and, like, if I did anything special. But, basically, what this comes down to is that my whole day at work... Because I currently don't have anything to really work on, but they need me there in case of something, I just sit on my phone and play mobile games, watch, you know, YouTube videos, and just waste my time while getting as much dopamine in my body as humanly possible.
So, there's a lot I can say about this.
Yes.
Because I also have suffered from this, and I still, in some ways, suffer from it. I definitely think I'm addicted to YouTube, in a way. But I realize now, in going the Buddhist route, the idea of understanding the cause of why you do something is a way you can defeat that something. Yeah. And I realized the thing I liked about YouTube was finding information and learning things. Mm-hmm. So if I just subvert that by reading books, I still feel the same stuff. I just have to work at it, essentially. Yeah. But in reference to your stuff, I feel like there's a couple of things in my head. The first thing is that I was enlightened to a study the other day, which I thought was really interesting and shows the power of thinking. And just while it isn't something, I feel like it's getting a bad rap. Okay, people think thinking isn't that powerful. But the study was that there's three groups. You have people that were shooting physical basketballs into hoops. There was a second group of people that just sat in a chair and thought about shooting a basketball in a hoop. And then there were people that didn't do either of those things. Okay. And they compared all of them over the course of X amount of time to figure out how much they improved.
Yeah.
Okay, so the people that shot basketballs and practiced improved 24%.
Okay.
The people that sat there and thought about shooting basketballs improved 23%.
Ooh.
Just by thinking about shooting basketballs. And they think the reason for this is because the brain has a bunch of neural connections, but all it has to do every time you're doing, like if you're playing guitar, you're just like squeegeeing those connections. They're becoming easier to do over time. Yeah. They already exist, but you just, by reinforcing them and doing them over and over,
you're just polishing.
You're polishing it. But you can do that just by thinking.
Yeah.
All you have to do is decide to do it.
This is so like I think I've felt this before because I would play like let's say a first person shooter. Okay? Yeah. And this is all... Look, I go back to video games. Mm-hmm. This is my life. Why is it my life? Anyways, we can go back. But just by, like, in my head, I was really bad. And I'm like, I need to know why I'm bad. And so I, like, watched a video of myself playing a game. Like, oh, I just aim terribly and I do all that stuff. And without really practicing and just mentally thinking, like, just aim upwards a little bit or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was able to, like, become as, like, terrible to, like, serviceable to good, right? And like that, yes, that applies to a lot of that stuff. What for a real life example of this, first time I went skiing, terrible, but then I like figured out a bunch of stuff, and then the instructor told me a bunch of stuff, and then like went to bed thinking about it, woke up the next day and I was like decent at it as well. So I think there is actually a lot to that. I think physically doing it as well. I think if you did both, you'd be
practice and thinking about it, you'd probably become a pro before you even notice.
So like, why don't we have any pro basketball players that just like show up,
just sit there in a chair? They just bring their foldable chair and they sit in the middle of the field, and then they're like, I'm gonna think about this today.
Like, gonna shoot some 3-pointers later.
What if I shot from the 3-point line on the other side of the field?
But say there's
is
a guy
that 6 points?
They're not even like thinking about throwing the ball. They're like, what if there's like 8 guys playing basketball?
What if I kick the ball? Would that be a different game, or what makes it basketball?
Yeah,
we don't
baskets.
So you were, to get back to the topic at hand, you were saying that you feel like you struggle when you go to work, you sit down and you consume all these things that just fill your dopamine-addled brain for a short period of time.
Oh, yeah.
Which is enough to escape the reality you're existing in, but you also feel like you're losing thought because of it. Like you're not able to remember, and things like that are weakening.
I've experienced this before. And what fixed it was finding another job that was engaging, that I had to think, otherwise I would fail.
Okay.
And so forcing myself to like get back and to like start my brain back up, essentially is what it felt like, was the only way that really kind of solved that. I feel like I could try to do that at home. I just need to find something that's engaging for that I want to do, that I would be like, time to start.
Here you go. So I understand. I read something recently that I thought was very characteristic of human behavior. It was that when people start a new exercise or something interesting to do, the novelty propels them to do it for about a week.
Yeah.
And then after that point, you have to gain, through your own willpower, the need to continue to persist in it. Otherwise, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And so when I was reading the stuff on Rudolf Steiner's anthroposophy, whatever. One of those things. You look it up, okay? Rudolf Steiner. He one of the interesting things is they characterize, the people that follow this characterize willpower and concentration as two of the 6 things that can be trained to achieve a higher consciousness. And so I was wondering what those things were, because obviously, like, you are acknowledging at this point in time that there are things you want to do outside of play Clash of Clans and watch YouTube videos or whatever you do.
Yes.
But the difficulty is that without the novelty and without the willpower to do it, it's difficult to change that behavior.
Yes.
And so the 2 exercises for 2 of the 6 things that you can improve, the willpower and concentration, are actually incredibly easy to do. Okay, so I'm going to give you this information today.
Yes.
So if you want to train your willpower, okay, you want to be better and have more willpower, all you have to do is do something every day consistently that your brain doesn't want to do. Okay. So if literally, I'm starting to do this with pushing walls, okay? Yeah. Every day at 12, I'm going to push walls for 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. I don't want to do it. Yeah. It tires you out because it's something you do. But if you do it every single day, then you will be training your brain to have that willpower. Even better and more advanced version of the willpower training is to do something every day, but decide what time you're going to do it at the start of every day. Okay. So if you're going to push walls, decide flexible times, because building a habit it reinforces your character. Yeah. Okay. To go back to pre-podcast talk, Heraclitus, the ancient philosopher, said, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right.
That works for me.
Talked about how your fate is going to be the same because it results from the same character. If you're an irritable, ill-tempered person, you're always going to make the same actions, which is always going to result in the same fate. It's going to be miserable. But if you change your character by having better habits, then you will inevitably change your fate. And I suppose that goes into the free will versus destiny thing. But this all comes down to that's just willpower. Okay? Yeah. Now, to train concentration, thought, memory. Yeah. What they suggest, what Rudolf Steiner suggests, is to take an object and look at it for 5 minutes and only think about that object. Okay. Don't think about anything else. Think about it. Observe it. Look at how it was. Think about how it was made. Yeah. All the characteristics of it, the color, the different tarnations on it, whatever.
I feel like I could figure that out too fast, though.
But the whole point isn't that you figure it out. It's that you contemplate on it for 5 minutes. Just do it for that set amount of time. Yeah. Because the whole goal is your brain is like a wanderer. It feeds off of random shit. Yeah. Like you're going to be looking at a copper ball and then thinking about that one time that friend took that marble in 3rd grade and you want to beat his ass and you still feel those irritable feelings. Your brain constantly tries to make these connections to distract you from what you're doing.
Well, I think your brain's trying to make those connections to try to bring knowledge forward. I think
it's a druggie, bro. I think it needs to think about different things, and you need to fucking beat it down, put it in the prison, and be like, you stupid bitch, we're only going to think about this for 5 minutes. Yeah. That's what I think it needs to be.
I completely agree. And that's what meditation kind of is.
True.
You kind of just beat yourself into no, stop thinking.
Stop. We're going to work on this. I've been trying meditation in different ways. I don't know what works for you. Yeah. Rudolf Steiner's suggestion, he suggests to reach higher consciousness, you think constantly about creation and destruction because those are the 2 forces that are in your body. And, I've been trying to think of a plant growing and a plant dying and a plant growing and a plant dying and a plant growing and a plant dying. But
sounds like too many things to think about while you're meditating.
Yeah. I don't know what works. I'm just going to keep trying it. We're going to persist for at least a month. I'm going to think about things growing, things dying. And we're going to see if I get anywhere. Okay. I tried for a week. And I haven't gotten anywhere, but hopefully.
Do you know what works for me?
What?
Well, okay, so I have 2 different ones, right? First one is really simple. Literally just in my brain, when something pops up, just go nah, and just let it kind of fade away into whatever. Or just kind of hear it out for a little bit and then just let it kind of mute itself till the next one comes in, then let that fade out.
Okay.
And then the other way is the weird way that I had a psychology teacher that was this is how I've always meditated. And it is, imagine a gemstone with a single light shining into the gemstone, right? So I always think of a ruby that's cut kind of different ways every time pretty much. Sometimes they'll do a diamond shape, And so you have to think about in high definition how that light is reflecting through it and like maneuver it in your head as if you're like trying to do it. And it's really hard. And so it almost automatically empties, at least for me, it empties my brain. All I can think, I have to like dedicate 100% of my RAM to the image that I'm trying to render here. And
Full bore.
Exactly. So I eventually just get to a point where like you're thinking about it so hard and then you go like, oh, wait, there's nothing else going on. Oh, and like that kind of gets you into the meditative state.
You know, I've experienced different states, and I don't know what leads to each one.
Yeah.
Like, there are some times where it feels like this swelling, and I can surrender to it for a brief amount of time.
Yes.
But then there's other times where I can completely silence my brain, and then just, like, let the collective unconsciousness, like, or the spirit realm, whatever it is, just beam shit into my brain.
Yeah.
And then I'm just, I don't know if I'm seeing the ultimate library of life, the Akashic records or something. And how do I know what's real and what's illusion? I don't. I have no idea. I'm just sitting there, closing my eyes, and feeling all of the feeling from my hands leave my hands and completely enter a different realm.
That's a good feeling.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you're still long enough and receding from your limbs and retreating inwards.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like the true meditation is.
At my peak, I would do that in the shower.
Oh my God.
I would sit down in the shower.
Oh.
Like a monk sitting under a waterfall.
Yeah, a waterfall. Now it was a warm shower, right? Not a cold one.
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta do cold, bro.
I wouldn't... okay, so that would be like a challenge. It was already harder with the water. You're adding cold... No.
Have you seen the crocodile pose that they do for
pose.
meditation? And some,
No.
So the crocodile pose is where you lay down and you outstretch your arms at 90-degree angles and then, like, put your head on your forearms and then your whole body is like a crocodile, essentially. Okay. And that's apparently the advanced way to meditate.
It seems like, I don't know, I like sitting down or laying down.
I've tried it a couple times, and I feel like... So the thing I like about sitting is that I can actually get to the point where I don't feel my hands at all.
Yes.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
But with the crocodile thing, it becomes more about breathing. And so I'm focused constantly on breathing because my chest is touching the ground.
Yeah.
So that keeps me from those stray thoughts.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly...
You feel it.
Yeah, feeling the earth against me in a way.
Yeah. I think that, in a way, we just stumbled upon what I should do. Because I haven't been meditating. I haven't meditated in a while.
Oh my God. You haven't meditated? So what essentially you're telling me is you've had no moments of inward self-reflection at all.
This is the issue. I need to go float.
Float. You gotta float.
I'm gonna go to a float tank.
Honestly, I think the journaling helps. I do that too.
Yeah.
I'm not as good at it as I'd like to be, but I do incorporate the gratefulness as well as trying to just remember what my goals are. Like, what did I decide to do today?
That was something I always put down. What did I learn today? And all of last week, it was nothing. And then the last one was how to make a breakfast. Have you ever had corned beef hash?
No. I have not.
Okay, well, I made my own version of it, and so I kind of like just made it up.
Yeah.
And it was really good. So
that's awesome.
That's always good.
You know what? Most people, when you go down the several billion-dollar industry that is self-help, I'm sure.
Yeah.
A lot of people will tell you to journal, but they don't explain why. Yeah. And the benefit that I've heard explained for why is it allows you to see... It better not only helps with your memory because you're writing down everything that you're doing and stuff and, squeegeeing those parts of the brain, but you're also you're trying to find patterns with your behavior.
Yes.
Like when you feel certain things on certain days, what happened before it? What happened after? What are the events that sparked because the less conscious you are about controlling your emotions, the more you're just going to become like animalistic. Yeah. You're not going to have any higher consciousness or be able to, whatever that means. You're just not going to be able to make conscious decisions that aren't the result of things happening to you. Yeah. Like that quote of life is 10% or 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react. Uh-huh. That's essentially it.
Yeah. I thought you were about to say life is a highway. And you gotta ride it.
Gotta ride it my way.
I don't even... Is that even the real
I don't know.
Doesn't even matter.
I went the narcissistic route.
I'm making love to Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
That's what that... Yeah. Well, the song's obviously separate from...
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, the journaling, I think I've just always... Okay. Because I lack the brain, whatever, I just feel like I am nothing right now, right? Mm-hmm. The journal helped in my head. I'm like, this will help me bring myself back to not feeling nothing.
To consciousness, right?
Yes.
Because you do all these processes that are just unconscious.
Yes.
Like, you don't need to think about doing your job. I mean, sometimes, but...
Yeah, whenever there's something to think about.
Yeah, but when you're not doing anything, it's just dead time.
Yes. I just sit there and stare. And a lot of people, maybe people will listen to this in the future, and they'll be like, man, it sounds like he's got an easy job. It is sometimes, but other times it's really challenging, you know. And maybe, it all just depends on what you're doing. I can get into it maybe in the future, whenever we disclose our names
or
and
somebody figures it out.
Or exactly. Then we can go into exactly what that, because I think at some point that might help someone who's trying to decide on a career to hear about other careers.
Of course.
Especially when it's something like what I do, and most of the people that are in it are old people, which sounds weird, but that's just what it is.
Yeah. So. It's something you do, and you're the youngest in, at least younger than most of the average. A lot, yeah. But you make good money. It's just a matter of the psychological stress of doing it, essentially.
Well, and some people will never feel that, what I do. You know, I'm kind of lucky in a way where I get random jobs. If someone's just in a job where it's always stressful, they're never going to get to the point where I'm at. You know what I mean?
See, I think my difficulty is that I value expression and more than... I realized when I worked my previous jobs that they were really lackluster for me, and they didn't meet all of my needs.
Yes.
And now I'm at a moment where I'm doing something I adore.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And I have all this freedom, and I'm completely grateful for having the ability to do it. And that only makes me want to be more expressive.
Yeah.
Obviously I have to succeed because... You know, if
you gotta do it.
I gotta pay for the office, which we talked about in the first episode. I got rent. I need money to do it, but I still, at the same time, I want to not care about that and just express.
Yes.
So it's this double nature battling within me.
Yeah, and that brings us to our first sponsor, ExpressVPN.
Why does everyone have a VPN? How hard is it even to make a VPN? Is it just a program?
You could have done it. Okay, so if you get a router, you can make an onion router, which does that and brings you to the dark net or whatever, right? But I think that it's a lot of random work, and there's no quick way of doing it unless you're a pro. Yeah. And you're using your Linux OS.
I might just have to sit down, watch a couple Indian-made tutorials with bad English about how to start your own third-party VPN service.
I think
just crank one out.
There you go. I think with what it honestly, it's really cheap as well to just, and it I bought a VPN 3 years ago. It cost me $6 for 3 years.
Why did you get a VPN, if you don't mind me asking?
I wanted to spoof my zone to do gray area legality things. Which you've seen.
Netflix?
Yes. Yeah. No. You've seen the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't do that where we are.
You know, see, if I look up weird stuff on the internet, I want everyone who's watching me to know exactly what I did. Yeah. So I don't care.
Well, yeah, but sometimes they block you because of where you're at.
Oh,
right? So you can't even get onto that site or whatever without pretending you're there.
I see.
Yeah.
So you're trying to give them the fake passport, the digital cyberspace cowboy passport of, I actually live in this country, so I can view all this content.
Yeah, and they go excellent.
Yeah, sweet. You got the right papers. Continue. Here's the entrance.
Exactly. Do you know, I was talking to someone, and they were saying their girlfriend lives in Germany.
Okay.
and she couldn't get a visa to come to the United States.
Really? I thought that was easy.
No, it's so what it is it's really easy for us as United Statesers to go anywhere in the world because we just get free time wherever. Whereas whenever you go from somewhere else to the U.S., at least in most countries, you have to say, I'm going to be there for the X amount of time. I'm going to be doing this. And, like, I need a visa for 2 weeks or whatever, right? And so I think part of it was her reasoning was to go see her boyfriend, right? Because if she gets pregnant, now she gets free access to the U.S., right? So, like, in the defense of not allowing someone to go see their loved ones, you could just go get free United States citizenship.
Yeah, I would say in that case, she's got to be more...
secretive,
but also just, a little lie. Just lie a little bit.
Just don't really... Just say you're going to go see your friends.
Your family, even. That's a more... And then your boyfriend. I mean,
your
that's
boyfriend's
just kind of a lame, low-tier reason.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to let you out of the country for that?
Yeah, like, you're going to come in here and do stuff in our country with that reason? Where'd you meet him? Online?
Yeah, exactly.
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, have you even seen him in real life?
Yeah. This isn't going to work out.
Yeah.
You're going to be here for 3 days.
I think, yeah. So, do you have any subjects? Because I have a few that I wrote down.
I want to briefly talk about
Yeah.
The concept of threefoldness.
Yes, yeah, we need to do that. Yeah.
And then we can go to your list. So the essential concept is, and this is by Rudolf Steiner as well, there's a pattern. There's no pattern with reading Oedipus Rex and Rudolf Steiner.
Okay.
I read that because I needed to do it for work. But
yeah.
Rudolf Steiner talks about the threefoldness in humanity, okay?
Oh.
And I'm sure there's other stuff that talks about it too. But I thought this concept was really interesting, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Or talk at you about it.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. That works.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, because I don't have anything to say about this.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what it is. Yeah. I'm ready to learn.
Yeah. So the idea is that you can divide your body's systems into 3 parts. So your head, the sensory part that manages all of the senses and your ego, that is one part, the sensory system. The second part is your rhythmic system, or the heart and lungs, okay? Which, rhythmic because lungs, you breathe 12 times a minute average, unless you're fat. Then your heart beats about 72 times a minute.
More, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, because, you're out of breath or whatever. Then the third system is the metabolic and the limb system. So your limbs, your appendages, and as well as the digestive system. And this threefoldness can be parted and viewed in multiple ways. I think the most interesting is the head perceives things that already exist. Thus, it could be said to be in the past, because you're always seeing things in the past. Even the ancient Egyptians, or maybe it's the Greeks, I don't know. One of those groups of people viewed everything they saw as the past and everything behind them as the future, because it was stuff they haven't seen yet. So then with the heart and rhythmic lung system, that's more the present, because when you're running or you're doing something, the rhythm balances. Your heart rate speeds up, your breath speeds up, whatever, depending on what it needs. And then the limbs and the digestive system are actually the future, because you can manipulate matter with your limbs. They are things that are completely unconscious but can manipulate stuff. And the same way for consciousness can be for all the systems. Your brain, the sensory aspect, is very conscious. The heart and rhythm system is half and half, because if you focus on it, it's half conscious. If not, it's unconscious. And then the limb system is completely unconscious. Like you don't even think about moving something, you just move it.
Yeah.
It does things happen. As well as it goes even further into like the skeletal stuff as well. Like your brain is completely housed in this armor of bones. Your rhythmic system is half protected and guarded, but the other half not. And the limbic system, your muscles and stuff like that, is not guarded. It's unguarded. It can be, and the same thing goes for destruction as well. Like your brain, if it gets parts of it fucked up, it's not going to regenerate.
Yeah.
Whereas the stuff in your rhythmic system will half regenerate. There's the opportunity. Where limbs will, I mean, not your full limb, but parts of them will heal. Like you have healing capabilities and stuff like that. So
dude, I can heal.
All of this is really interesting. And then there's another level of considering animals and where more developed they are in regards to these threefoldness systems. So like, for example, birds and mice are very sensory. They completely react to everything in their surroundings. They're completely worried about all of the everything that's happening. They're very skittish. Then you have something like a lion, which is like the half between sensory and a fully unconscious, like limbic system, because they have moments of rest and moments of like hunting and aggressiveness.
Yeah.
So in that hierarchy, it's rodents, then carnivores, then you have undulates, the cows. Like things that are just pure digestion. Yeah. Things that are completely unconscious. They barely move. They just stand around and eat all day and are completely, they don't do anything.
What would you consider like an elephant or a whale?
I would consider an elephant. That would probably be more the herbivore, undulate, whatever, cow side, because they just eat.
But they're really smart though.
They're smart, but they don't react to senses, as far as I know, that much. Like they can be scared, and they can be called to action.
Yeah.
But it depends on a majority of, like, for example, cows have like 5 stomachs.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many stomachs an elephant has.
I don't think it's that many. Mm-hmm. I think so. Like elephants, right? This is just kind of an aside. I don't want to take away too much.
No, you're good.
Like there's animals, and like a way to test their intelligence is by putting a mirror in front of them. They can recognize themselves, and like if you put a paint marker on their face or whatever, they go like, "Oh, I'm gonna look at it in the mirror." Then they're somewhat intelligent. They have like whatever. On top of that, elephants also like migrate to like watering holes, so they like in a way know that kind of stuff. I don't know like where I'm going with this with what you're saying.
Yeah,
I would say elephants are closer to people, which makes them somewhere in the middle.
Well, people have all of these systems, but they're balanced in a way that allows them to be human, essentially.
Yeah.
I would personally put elephants on the scale of cows, but that's only with my current knowledge. Like, I don't know the proportion of how much of their stomach is compared to their body mass. I don't know. I mean, I know they need to eat a lot to sustain their huge frame, and that most of the stuff they eat, there are herbivores, so that's where I would kind of classify it. But I don't know, it was the whole concept to me was really interesting to start to consider how all of these, even just being able to categorize things in these systems is particularly interesting, because personality and other things and life and the way things react can all stem from the habitat of these animals, all comes from the balance of these systems and where they're heavier and or not, essentially. It's like the triangle of perception.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's neat. I don't know what I'm going to do with this information. I just, you
just have it now.
I read about it and I was like, wow, that's pretty, I mean, as far as, I feel I spend a lot of time trying to understand myself better. And in doing that, I try to read like what other people say about humans and stuff like that. So whether it's science or sociology or whatever, anything. I find all those, psychology, very interesting. And I thought that conceptualization of those systems was very peculiar.
It is, yeah. I mean, psychology to me is like the most interesting, like, I don't know if it's the most interesting subject to me, but I would say it's pretty damn close.
Is it interesting? I mean, I find psychology more and more interesting because I feel like there's a lot of things in existence now with social media and the internet that just try to take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. So I purposefully try to learn as much as possible to see if I'm being manipulated, I guess.
Yeah, if you're getting trolled.
Yeah, if I'm getting played, bro. Yeah. I want to know. Who's pulling the strings, dude?
Yeah, dude.
In my life.
Is it Bill Gates?
Is it me? Am I making the decisions? Or is it somebody else in a chair that's using a data set that a robot has that's showing me the ads that I need to click on and buy stuff?
You do need to click on the ads.
Do I really want those things? Or is somebody else telling me I need those things?
Wait, that wasn't on the script, dude.
Oh no, we're going back
to that again. I'm sorry. I just ruined the whole thing.
Speaking of which, where are we right now? I was outside. I'm still naked, right?
Yeah, you're charged. You're glowing.
Yeah, I'm glowing. My third eye is opening.
Yeah. So,
what do we see?
There's a creek.
There's a creek?
A beautiful creek.
Not like the sewers from below.
No. It's like beautiful outside. Yeah. Like, I don't know why we were inside the things fighting off zombies. Like, where did the zombies even go?
I don't see them anymore.
Yeah, but maybe because we're out in nature, there are no zombies.
Oh, it looks like over there, amidst the beautiful forest and the lush green, I think I see a billboard.
Yeah?
What? Can you read that from here? My vision's really bad.
Yeah. It looks like Raycon.
Raycon, our sponsor for today's episode. Not only are they earbuds that you haven't heard enough about, but we haven't been sponsored by them. And I don't use them, so I don't know if they're good.
Do you want... this might ruin a future sponsorship, but I got some for Christmas 2 years ago.
Yeah, how do you like them?
They broke within 31 days, which is 1 day past their warranty.
How did they break?
I would work out with them in, and they worked for the first 30 days. Mm-hmm. And then the 31st one, maybe a specific amount of sweat got into one.
I see.
And popped it, and then it was dead.
Wow. So, it sounds like they aren't really conducive, at least in your experience, to working out.
They aren't that good for that. And realistically, should you have earbuds in while you're working out? Maybe not. But
yeah, maybe not. You should just be considering Aristotle when you work out.
I should. Yeah. And how gay he probably was, yeah.
I don't think Aristotle was gay, but I haven't read all of his work, so I don't know.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny. I just, I saw a post and on reddit.com.
Oh, no, you're on that site?
Yeah, that...
You gotta get off of that.
I should, yeah. I should just delete my phone.
Honestly, that might be affecting your memory.
Probably. But anyway... it was just a picture, and it was like, oh yeah, man, just a couple of homies hanging out, and it was just like the picture of the two dudes. I'm like, man, I wonder how many times that's happened in history. Yeah, it looks like it happens all the time. Where you could have said that these people were just gay, but instead historians were like, oh no, they're just really good friends.
I'm sure it has happened. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't live in those times, unless you're considering Carl Jung's theory is right, and we actually have a collective unconscious of our ancestors hereditarily passed down throughout all of our bodies. And all we have to do is meditate and think and try to channel. And then we can ask our grandfathers and our ancestors on our paternal line or otherwise what the answers to our questions are.
That's right.
Did you know only men can trace the patrilinear line of their family? Because they have the Y... I don't know. Something.
Wait, but that doesn't really make much sense because the woman has more of the... I don't know. I feel like women are around longer. Like, they have to feed the baby.
Yeah, so I don't understand it fully, and this is going to be a butchering of it, but men have a specific thing that is passed down. The women hold it, but the men have it. And the men can pass... I don't know. It's something that only men can trace their male line all the way back to the haplogroup, which is the original group of, all the way back.
Sounds like
to eternity.
The haplogroup sounds like the Illuminati to
me. You can figure out exactly where you come from all the way through your haplogroup, whereas women have to go to their distant relatives, brother or something. Yeah.
Not just because they take the last names of whoever their husband is.
No. The last names of the husbands thing works the same way that this specific gene does, and I don't know. You're gonna have to look it up. If you go to look up taking DNA tests, if you're a male, you have access to a test that traces your entire paternal line all the way back.
Uh-huh.
But women can't do that.
Really?
They can't.
That's weird.
I know, it's really strange. I don't know enough about science yet. I gotta read more. I need more brain reps.
Yeah. So, I just thought of something.
Yeah.
You read a lot of books.
Yeah.
I don't read whatsoever. I personally dislike reading. And with your advice of what you said earlier about doing something you don't like, just forcing yourself to do it, maybe while I'm at work, I just break out a book.
Honestly, another thing I would say is I knew I wanted knowledge, and it was difficult for me to start the time to read.
Yeah.
And if the age-old saying of, once you start reading, you're going to just continue. So if you just set a time for 5 minutes, you're going to end up reading 30. So just start reading. That didn't work for me.
Yeah.
What worked for me was doing something I liked whilst reading. Because like drinking coffee and reading trained my brain to like reading.
Yeah.
I already knew I wanted to do reading, but I had so many gates in front of it. Like, oh, there's other things. We could be sitting there gooming all day.
Yeah.
Why don't we just play video games all day long and just do nothing progressive in our actual life, so when the screen turns off we see our ugly mangy mug in the reflection of the black screen, and our money, the gold we made in the game, is completely useless in this digital environment, and now we have to exist in the physical environment because we can't 24/7 live in a world that is completely dominated by the metaverse. So after I figured out that I could just sit there and drink coffee while I read, I actually liked reading.
So do you think you could condition yourself then to buy NFTs?
I don't think so.
if you drank coffee every day.
Once you realize the true nature of NFTs, it's pretty hard. It's like the ultimate like truth pill about NFT. Like once you realize that NFTs are just hyperlinks to images that are hosted on some website, then you start to realize, oh my God, if I own these NFTs, somebody could just change all the hyperlinks to something completely illegal, like child porn, and then I would technically own it.
Yeah.
And then I could go to jail.
But it's minted. So you can't change it though.
No, the hyperlink is stored. But the only thing that connects to that hyperlink...
I see what you're saying.
So, like, in the Ethereum blockchain, your hyperlink is stored, okay? But in the actual internet, viewing the picture, that hyperlink is changeable.
Yeah.
So even if you got a bunch of NFTs, somebody who is hosting the website can just change it. They can put whatever they want on it. You don't actually... You own nothing. Literally nothing.
Well... Yeah,
it's a scam.
Yeah. No, I don't want it either.
It's honestly amazing. Because I was like, man, these NFT things, they're kind of crazy. People are blowing up. They're wasting money. I mean, people in general probably just want a reason to spend money. So
I just want to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what we should be doing is we should be buying land in the metaverse. Like Snoop Dogg, who spent millions, apparently... He spent money to buy land in the metaverse, and people are apparently buying property next to him in the metaverse.
Let me tell you, okay, Snoop Dogg is an entrepreneur. He is a genius. Everything that he has done, at least as far as I know, has been a great success.
I'm telling you what, I think the people that he pays to make decisions for his money
are
geniuses.
Makes these. I think, all right, yeah, maybe there's probably some dude around that's like, yeah, man. Metaverse property.
I think the people he's paying are true cyberspace neuromancers, and they know exactly what's going to be the next fad, and he's got to get his name on it because that'll sell something.
He's got his own brand of weed.
They're playing 4-dimensional chess, and we're sitting here with 1-dimensional. If I could just stop watching YouTube, my life would be so much better. That's what we're dealing with.
If only I didn't spend 26 hours in the last 3 days watching YouTube, I could have done anything.
We could be like Snoop Dogg, dude.
Yeah.
He's literally, he can just look at the world and see the etheric and the astral plane at the same time. Not only because he's freed his mind, dude. It's not the drugs. It's the people he pays that give him the information that we got to sit there and mine for. Like coal miners, huffing the dust, coughing, ruining our lives.
You know the little dance he does? Like the little, you know.
The dance that people came up with for him?
Yeah, so that one, that's how you get there. That's what we haven't realized yet as a society.
We need to, using the threefoldness of humanity, we have to unify these systems to ascend to the angelic spirit of humanity itself by doing those rhythmic...
That's right.
Yeah. Arm turns. For those of you at home that don't know what this looks like, it's literally a... what is it? Clockwise turn of the hand.
And he's doing like this with the other one, like wiggling back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, so if you want to look up something and you have access to the internet, which you 100% do, wait.
No, we're just tossing these on vinyl and sending them to the hipsters. That's where these are coming from. If you're listening to this right now, you have black, thick rim glasses. You're sitting there in a low light area with your overpriced coffee on a chair that you reupholstered with ugly upholstery.
It's either overpriced coffee or a bong. One of the two.
Both.
Yeah.
You're drinking coffee out of the bong. The bong has it's a double glass bong. Half of it you can drink out of, the other half keeps it warm because you're toking while you drink it.
Coffee you spent $30 for 2 servings of tastes disgusting now, but it's worth it.
Yeah. You crushed up your Adderall, put it in the coffee, and then you're doing the weed while it's double boiling in this double glass bong. That's actually just a French press. But you're smoking on
it. Yeah, man, I smoke on my French press, bro. You want to take a rip out of my French press?
Bro, you're going to love this one. If you push the French press like halfway down, not only you get both the coffee, but also you can start seeing the third eye. Dude.
Yeah, man, I loaded up with some PCP, bro.
I'm going to be honest here. I've never done weed, and I don't plan to. So all of my explanations for what being high is are completely wrong.
So speaking of getting
They're just based on educated guesses.
So speaking of getting high and opening up your third eye.
Yeah.
I happen to do that every so often.
Okay. Yeah, what does it feel like? Tell me.
What does it feel like? It's like a depending on what you do, right? Because there's different kinds of weed, right? Okay. There's a reason why there's different names for different
strains and
it's actually really interesting if you read up on it because there's different cannabinoids. I think there's like hundreds of them, right?
Yeah.
And each one there's like a bajillion different combinations of these cannabinoids because you can have several, you could have none, or very few. And that gives you the different feelings that you could feel, which makes it really interesting because you can get cannabinoid 1 through 6 and then 28 and 82. And that's how you make OG Kush number 58, right? And that one makes you feel very relaxed, but hungry, but also somewhat focused and talkative, right? And so depending on what you do, you can feel different things. It's really interesting.
Well, see, I think what I'm trying to do is I want to eventually, and hear me out here, I want to reach a point. So from my understanding, essentially you're imbalancing the chemicals in your brain by doing weed. I want to be able to just do that by thinking.
You can get there.
I know I know it's possible. I know I don't need drugs to do it. I just gotta do until I get there.
This is the way. Do you want to know the way?
Let's see the way.
This is without drugs. This is what in my head. Okay. Yeah. You go for a run. You not necessarily exhaust yourself, but you get really second wind and all that stuff and runner's high and all that. You get to a point where you have your runner's high. Then you go to a float tank.
Oh my god.
And while you're in the float tank, then you'll start seeing stuff, and that's how you'll feel high.
Well, tell you, that's what I got to do.
Yeah.
I got to do the run, the exasperation, and then I got to do the float.
There you go. That would be the way. Yeah. But to go back to how it feels to chew 5 gum.
Yeah.
Sponsored by 5 gum.
Yeah. They don't sponsor anything.
No, they
don't.
Shut up. No, I know. We've had 3 fake sponsors. Now.
Yeah.
I got to just stop.
Is there any product you actually advocate for?
Me?
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
So anyway, it feels like if I were to explain it in child terms, it's as if your whole body is getting a warm hug and you feel goofy.
So in comparison to alcohol, what would you say there?
In comparison to alcohol, for me, I feel loose. I feel more. I'm more suggestible, right? Whenever I drink, weed, I feel a little bit suggestible, but I'm more conscious of what I'm doing. I feel as though alcohol less conscious, weed more conscious.
Okay,
but you still feel good.
Yeah,
because you would think that I don't know if you wanted to relax. Being more conscious would be bad, but at the same time, you're sedentary and you're just thinking about stuff. I'll look at a table and be like, man, I didn't realize tables were so round and
So this is almost like that concentration exercise I'm telling you to do to improve your concentration.
Yeah.
But instead, you're just doing drugs to get there.
You should just smoke weed.
That's what you're suggesting.
Yeah. I think if you tried it once, it wouldn't kill you.
I'm sure it wouldn't.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I think if you're curious about it, right? We're in a place where it's legal. There's no, like, whatever. If you were interested in doing it, then you could.
Tell you what, I think I'm going to be a teetotaler.
Teetotaler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's for drinking specifically, but honestly, I don't ever want to be a person that's associated with weed bro.
You don't.
Ever.
Yeah.
Even if I did it once. I hate the people that are like that.
I understand.
It's like an intuition in me.
Yeah.
That bothers me.
I think, I mean, like, am I that?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
When I talk to you, I don't think weed bro.
Yes. And I think that...
How often do you do it, though?
Every other week or so. But you don't hear about it because
Because you're not a weed bro.
Something that I'm finding out, something that I'm finding out more and more is that a lot of people actually smoke weed.
Yeah.
But nobody really talks about it because it's something that they just do. Mm-hmm. Like, if I go home and have a glass of wine, it's not like I'm going to walk into work next week. Dude, I had a glass of wine last night, dude. I'm all about the Chardonnay. Like...
You know what, though? I feel it is my purpose in all of monk mode to just try to avoid everything as possible when I'm doing my creative work. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be influenced by anything but my own brain.
I completely understand that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just what it is for me. Maybe it's purity it's forced purity from my Catholic upbringing. Yeah. It could be that. Maybe I have these inherent feelings because of the way I was brought up. Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, like, I could see that. I mean, like, I talked to so there was research done about COVID, and like, if you have CBD, which is the second chemical of weed, because there's THC and CBD. THC, yeah. So CBD doesn't really give you any of the goofy effects or anything. It just is like more of a anti-inflammatory somewhat. It has some other effects, right? Mm-hmm. It helps people with like it has some weird effects, like with schizophrenia.
Technically, I've done drugs. I've tried the CBD cream, but it's never done anything for me.
Yeah, some people it doesn't really seem to do anything.
Literally nothing.
My grandpa swears by it because he's got arthritis in his hands, right? And like if he doesn't use it, like it's hard. You can see it. Like his hands just doesn't bend well, and if he uses the CBD, he can bend more.
But see. This is where I think the placebo effect comes
in. It very well could be, yeah.
Like, if you believe something enough, it's true.
Then what's the harm in using it?
I think, but you got to realize the power of thought.
Yeah.
You could just think that you're healed, and it won't...
But so like, my grandpa's not thinking about that.
He's just thinking the CBD works.
Yes.
And then it works.
Yeah.
Because he's thinking it works. Mm-hmm. It's the placebo.
Yeah.
Whereas, what if I just treated everything in life as a placebo? Everything good in life.
You got like a broken leg.
Yeah, like what if my leg was broken and I was like, bro, it actually works.
Yeah.
And I believed it. Maybe it would heal.
Yeah. It could.
Maybe you can meditatively enter a different realm than the physical realm.
Yeah.
As long as you believe you can. Same thing with faith, though. Like faith healing. Like people that go to healers.
They believe. Yeah. They're like, oh, the Lord will save me.
Did you know I'm related to a saint that did that?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. In my line, there is a saint that didn't claim to heal people at all. But people would just go to him, and then they would get the placebo effect. Or maybe he had divine God healing powers. I really don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see the light emanate from his hands. He beamed it in your femur or something. I have no idea. So
I think a whole lot. Like, I mean, I think thinking, like, you're completely right. I do think thinking is like the best way to get out of stuff. I think
best way to get high.
Yes. If you want to, this sounds like the most douchebaggery way to say something, right? But if you're depressed, just think about the depression.
Honestly, I think we can go. Well, first off, I wanted to mention that one of the other funny things about the saint I was related to is the other priests were really annoyed with all of the crushes and stuff that people would just throw away at the church because they would be healed. So they're like just building up this pile of like random stuff. And they're like, I can walk again. But so that was funny. But I feel like we can take a lesson from Buddhism in that one of the noble truths is understanding the causing of your suffering. Mm-hmm. You're probably depressed because you're not doing anything in life that you actually value. Yeah. Like you're not listening to the inner voice in your spirit, your soul, whatever it is. It's telling you, man, today you got to get up and do something that matters. Yeah. That voice, you're not listening to that. You're instead, you're pushing that voice down and just going, we can get rid of all these feelings with substance abuse.
I need to watch YouTube right now.
I need to play video games.
That's right.
Nothing gives me more feelings of success than sitting down and watching the numbers go up, baby. My KD.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. No.
So.
Yeah. To circle it back.
Yeah.
The weed. Okay. This was the beginning of my story. All right. We went off on a tangent.
Yeah. No. Continue.
But we're right back. Okay. Yeah. I was drugged.
Yeah.
Okay. I drugged myself.
Okay.
With my fiance.
So you self-medicated.
Yes. Yeah, man. I was self-medicating, bro. Anyway, me and my wife were self-medicating.
Yeah.
And she showed me a video of myself from a year prior. And I saw that and it hit me. Have I always been this much of a dork?
What do you mean? I mean, what did you do in the video?
Dude, I just like said some random garbage and had a smug face and I was like, and like that was it. And I was like, that's me? That's been me the whole time? I've been like this for years. And the worst part of it was, or I guess the best part of it was that I'm like, there's a wholesome moment where I'm like, you've been dating me the whole time? And you're okay with this? Like,
it was like you finally got to look in the mirror. You completely bared all. Yeah. And you're so dorky you can't even handle it.
Well, like I knew that I've always been weird, right?
Yeah.
My whole life I've just been some weirdo. There's something weird going on, right? Yeah. But at that moment I had the realization that I'm like, the specific type of weird is just dork.
So wait, are you not, is this like something you're self-conscious about or?
No. This is what I came to the conclusion of.
Yeah.
The people who are around me have accepted me for who I am. Mm-hmm. I am okay with who I am. I like who I am. I like what I've been doing. Mm-hmm. I just hadn't realized that who I was a dork. And so I'm happy with it. And dude, this is something I wrote down in my journal. One of the first things I wrote down after I realized I was a dork. I'm happy that people around me have accepted me for who I am, mm-hmm. and that I have like good friends, such as you.
Well, thank you.
Such as, my wife.
I appreciate all your dorkiness and you being my friend. If anything, I feel I'm constantly battling between the super ego of myself, this thing that compels me to be virtuous. I think it's something that is instilled for me from Catholicism. Yeah. So I appreciate that you can still see past that, mm-hmm. and we can still continue to be friends despite me feel. I feel this is really weird. I hate. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going.
You got this. Yeah. This is you're doing what I do. I believe in you. Go.
Honestly, my problem is that I always feel like I in some way judging other people for not doing what I think they're supposed to be doing, but I really don't care. Yeah. I just want to keep doing these things that I'm doing, and whatever you do is your own business, I guess. Yes. But I do think that I come off sometimes as, you got to edge 5 hours a day, bro. It's the only way.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. Yeah. Dude, I do the same thing where I tell people, like, what they should be or could be doing, but, like, in my life, mm-hmm. or whatever, I realized that the reason why I do that is because whenever I was a kid, my parents would always be telling me, like, hey, you should really be working on this or mm-hmm. doing that. And it's always like, do something productive pretty much every single time. Yeah. And without realizing it, whenever I became an adult and I, like, was out of the house more and I was gone or whatever, right? I slowly just kind of like started telling people, there's something in my bones that was embedded in there that was like, you got to tell someone what they should be doing.
If you're not doing something, you got to tell somebody else to do something.
That's right.
Yeah.
And in reality, I'll tell them that, and I won't even think about it ever again. But in their head, they'll be like, man.
It's a little murder. It's the thing that stays with them for the rest of their life. They're like, man, I need to do this. I need to keep. Yeah. I get it. I feel the same way. I feel I was raised by people that constantly wanted me to have academic achievement, and now I've internalized this. I have to do something and be productive, but I'm realizing more I can divorce myself from I don't need to please other people by making achievements. I just need to please myself.
Yeah.
And I suppose in a way that's kind of selfish, but I think the internal, being satisfied internally and not seeking external pleasure is in some way the answer for my life. I'm not sure. But not to make this about me.
No.
Let's go back to what you were saying.
I understand. No. I'm just a dork. That's all that was. It was just a weird, like, sudden realization.
It was self-awareness, right?
It was and because I was drugged, I was so self-aware of myself at that moment. I always forget what the id and ego are. Like, I know what they are, and I know the differences between the two, but I can't remember the labels.
Yeah, so that's Freud, and Freud specifically, the id is your instincts.
Yes.
The ego is the voice that manages your instincts, and the superego is the things you aspire to do. Or it's the virtuous, like, angry voice that tells you to do things.
Yeah, so I think the way that I remember, like, separating them out, id, baby, super ego, parent, and then adult, is ego.
I think that's a good way to characterize those.
Yeah, do you know? I remember hearing that when I was in psychology class, and then I was at church because I think we talked about that in the first episode that I have to become Catholic in order to marry my wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so at church the priest was telling us about how, like, to make moral choice. And how, he went through, like, the whole entire thing. We eventually got to psychology, and how he basically did the same exact thing that I just did, which is how I remembered to do it. Anyway. But I couldn't remember, like, which one was it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Well, to go off of the Freud thing, I also like his predecessor, or his follower, his successor, Carl Jung's opinions. Instead of even though I think there's a lot of trinities in life, as with the threefoldness.
Treefoldness,
yes. Yeah, the threefoldness of humanity. I agree that id's, ego, superego is an interesting division of those.
Yeah.
But I also like Carl Jung's dichotomy of persona and shadow. Mm-hmm. This outward and inward. The thing you show everybody else, the mask of the persona, versus the shadow of the person that's unconscious and inside of you that you're trying to get closer to, sort of thing. I enjoy the dichotomy between those things because I think it revolves more around society rather than the internalness of Freud's, like, essentially three voices in your head. Mm-hmm. But I think both are useful to consider.
I mean, so, like, I feel like they work in tandem in a way, right?
Yeah, I could see that.
In a way, the id-ego thing is managing the shadow part and telling the outward, Yeah,
I can see what you're saying. Yeah, I could see, in a way, you could even divide it into separate sections where the persona has its own id, ego, superego, and the shadow has its own id, ego, superego, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a psychologist. I don't know.
It's just really interesting.
Psychoanalyst, whatever those guys were. I'm not sure. There's something inherently compelling in me to see categorizations of things and to put things in boxes.
Yeah.
Because it's easier for me to digest them if they're in boxes.
That's why this episode's sponsored by Taco Bell $5 box.
Oh, man, I would just love to make my bowel movement quicker.
That's right.
And so the best way, without having laxatives or using a pill that makes you barf, is to just eat Taco Bell.
Eat a cheesy 5-layer burrito by Taco Bell.
Nothing moves my colon faster than a $5 Taco Bell box. You know what I would like to do? Honestly, we got to test this. That actually is perfect. Good timing. We need to eat food. I was also thinking that, even better. I was also thinking that it probably is a really bad price for the $5 box because calorically, you could just get more value from just making the food yourself.
Yes.
I mean, $5. I could buy
wait a
3 pounds of meat for $15. Do you know how many tacos that is? Do you know how many cheesy 5-layer burritos that is?
I have no idea. How much is it?
That's the endeavor I want to go on. But if you imagine 3 pounds of meat, all you need to make the wraps, or for most of the stuff, is just flour.
Yeah.
Flour and oil. You don't need anything else. You just mix it. You don't need yeast. You just put all. If you've ever made a tortilla, that's all you need is flour. So white flour is like $2 for like a 5-pound bag.
Yeah.
Then you can spend some money on meat. That's where most of your cost is going to be. And then cheese, which is expensive as well, maybe like $5, but a lot of calories. And then lettuce costs absolutely nothing. How many burritos could you honestly? I bet a shit ton. I bet you could have so many burritos. You could eat burritos for 3 weeks.
I bet, this is my guess. Okay, I think if we were to look at Taco Bell and look at only calories and not nutrients, I think Taco Bell could give you a run for your money.
I don't believe it.
I think nutrient-wise, no. I think that you would die.
Yeah, we'll have to test it. Well,
I just wanted to point something out really quick just before we continue to our next segment here.
Yeah.
My wife has texted me while we were in the podcast, and I just wanted to point out that she's probably on drugs currently.
Okay. What did she say?
And just start right there. Read it out loud.
Okay.
Starting at the D right there.
Dude, I was about to make cream puffs. And then the next text is, we're out of butter.
That was it. But whenever she does this is...
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I get a...
Your wife's a weed bro.
Somewhat. But you wouldn't guess it.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Then I see a DoorDash order for Krispy Kreme. So... That's how I knew.
I see.
After I saw them, like, oh. But anyway.
Yeah, so I've forgot.
Yeah. You have forgotten.
For
4
weeks.
episodes?
Yeah, way too many.
Yeah.
I need to try hot sauce. So today, instead of doing it in a fashion that is palatable, my co-host has brought these to me, and I'm just going to drink some of them.
Hey, just put some on your finger.
Put some on my finger and try it.
Yeah, so they're both... okay, so this is... Whenever you said, do you have any brands that you would actually... I do love Cholula hot sauce.
Cholula hot sauce.
So I have the buffalo wing sauce, which he has in his hands currently.
Okay.
You just get that on there.
I've slathered my index finger.
Yeah. Put it in there. Now, what are you tasting?
Well, it's hot, but it's very good. It honestly is very, very good.
This is, this is the good stuff.
So it's both hotness, but also flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I wasn't going to do it like that. I just shoved my finger in the bottle.
I'm fine.
Like a barbarian.
Mm.
I would say that it has hotness, but it's not hotness that makes you want to drink a bunch of water really fast.
Yeah.
It's just a sting that you can add to something.
So that's usually you'd use that like at home. What me and my wife like to do, we'll just like grill some chicken breasts and then make like wraps out of it with like chopped lettuce. And so I do that with a little bit of blue cheese dressing as well.
Oh wow!
Just to like kind of give it a good mixture. It's pretty damn good.
It'd probably be, now that you say it, it'd probably be pretty good with my breakfast.
So I would actually recommend the other sauce we have here.
Okay, the original.
So this is original Cholula hot sauce. This is the one that you see at all the Mexican restaurants and stuff. So I'll allow you to...
here, I'll use a different finger.
Yeah, I was going to say if you wanted to actually like put it on a pistachio.
A pistachio?
Have you ever had a pistachio?
I have had a pistachio.
Okay, good.
But hot sauce on a pistachio?
I don't know if it would be good, but I was trying to find something that wasn't a cracker. But, yeah. So he's putting the...
it's pretty thick.
That one's thinner. The other one's super thick.
Mm. Oh, it honestly just tastes like...
peppers.
Tomato and pepper.
Yeah.
Wow.
That one, this is the one that I eat on my eggs like every time I have eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So
you know, I was always, I think some part of me was worried it would be just more hot than flavor.
Yeah.
But I am impressed to now see the light in that it is just hot, but also has flavor.
Yeah, it adds.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, for example, I made, was that in the podcast or before the podcast when I talked about breakfast?
I think it was our first pie. Or no, you're talking about the corned beef thing?
Yeah.
I think you talked about it during the episode.
Corned beef hash. Yeah. So corned beef hash, I made it over the weekend. This hot sauce went on it. Like, I did corned beef hash, which is just potatoes. I did onion and peppers. Just fry them up in a pan like hash browns. Mm-hmm. And then I added some breakfast sausage. And then put some cheese on that. And then that's it. You just put it in a bowl, put hot sauce on it, you're good to go.
My palate has expanded today. I'm entering a new plane.
I really think if you were to put this on your breakfast, you would have a good time.
Honestly, I'm going to have to buy some now. I'm going to have to get some and try it.
Get you some Cholula.
Yeah, because I eat the same breakfast every day. And so, I've tried different spices, but maybe I just need hot sauce.
Just need a little sauce.
A little sauce it up, spice my life.
I knew right whenever I tasted it, like, that's what it needed. But I didn't have any sauce whenever you made it for me.
Oh, my goodness. We're going to have to make it again. I'm coming to your house.
Yeah, let me know when, dude.
Yeah.
I'll tell you if I'm home.
Yeah, tell me if your wife's high. And
she doesn't really... So she only likes scrambled eggs, right?
Why specifically scrambled? Just she doesn't like the runny eggs or what?
Yeah, she doesn't like runny egg. I think a lot of people, like... Whenever I was a kid, I had runny eggs made correctly, right? Mm-hmm. Like not a sunny side up, but just over easy where only the yolks not cooked. Mm-hmm. I think if you go to a restaurant, I've had it so many times where you ask for over easy and they like leave it like some of the white's not cooked, and that's the gross part. I hate that.
Yeah, the white is the part you want cooked.
Yeah,
at minimum. I can handle the runniness of the yellow yolk.
Yeah, I like the runny yolk. Mm-hmm. Dip bread in it and all that. So, do you have any other topics?
Nothing.
Okay, let me pull up the list here.
I mean, I could spitball and dominate for anything, any topic, for any length of time, but it's time that you actually knock something off your list.
Okay, so on this list of recent things that I've added, we've already knocked off one, which was I'm a fucking dork.
Yeah.
That was literally typed out as that.
Do you think people can hear it?
What?
The dorkiness.
I don't know. This is the thing. I kind of just cut off at that point. After I realized that, like, I'm accepting and other people are accepting, and it literally brought me great joy. I was thinking about it the next day. Like, it haunted me for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I came to that conclusion that I'm happy about.
You reached a self-aware individuation of who you are.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing.
I agree.
So, what would you like out of... I kind of want to do... There's a couple on here that I kind of... Actually, do you want to talk about YouTube something or coffee something?
Let's do coffee something first.
Okay.
YouTube's had some runtime on this.
That's right. Yeah,
I hate that service. I'm sick of them. We're going to post all our episodes there. Fuck you.
That's right. You're going to take them. So... There's this coffee place, okay?
Okay.
And now, in the morning, when I don't have time to get to make my coffee, right? Because I got to get to work. Yeah. Sometimes, some days are busy. I'm like, I just better get in early. Okay. So, I'm on my way. All right. And I've hit all the local coffee places, like all the fast food ones. Like, yeah, I don't really feel like, I want to try something new. So, on my way, before I leave the house, I look up coffee places on my route. And I'm like, oh, there's one that's right there. And they're open. Oh, great. Okay. So I'm driving down. I go into this drive-through of this coffee place, okay? And their menu's kind of like gross and old. And I'm like, oh, yeah, all right, well, I'll still give them a try. So I'm like, I'll just take a regular coffee with some cream, okay? And a breakfast sandwich, all right? So I pull up to the window, and this lady is wearing nothing but tape over her nipples. And then another girl comes over, and she's wearing like what do you call that? Like a cutoff shirt that is just barely covering, like it's all under boob. And like I'm like, oh, okay. I just play cool. I hand her the card. I'm like, look, I'm obviously interested in like why, what's going on here, and so I, pay. She hands me my coffee. She hands me my breakfast, and she's like, okay, have a nice day. I'm like, okay, bye. I look it up afterwards, and this place is, I don't really want to name the place because it would give away the location.
But it's like a nude or a half nude coffee shop or something.
It's like advanced Hooters coffee shop. I call it the horny coffee shop. And so like, I haven't gone back because the coffee was mediocre, and the breakfast sandwich was actually decent, but
I have a feeling that their hiring isn't specifically for people that are good at making sandwiches.
Yeah, well, the sandwich was better than the coffee.
Oh, sorry, making coffee.
Yeah, but I mean, how hard... Yeah, exactly. But
They're not pressing the French press right. There's stuff getting in the way. Flappy bits. Hitting everything on the way down. Can't get the sugar in, bro.
But I mean, like, is that necessary?
Honestly, I feel...
5 o'clock in the morning.
Most of the time, when people come up with business ideas, I seldom think... they rarely consider whether or not it's necessary.
Yeah, that's true.
It's more of a, can we do it? Is it legal? People love porn.
They do.
They're obsessed. They try everything in their power to justify the fact that they sit at home and jerk off. Now they can just go to real places to be voyeurs. You can get your fix of voyeurism, whether it's looking at naked people in real life or being somebody that's half naked all the time by working at this place.
Yeah.
Honestly, amazing.
You can get off whenever you want.
The free country.
That's right. But I mean, like, there was a line. There was a few people ahead of me, and there's a few people behind me.
Was it drive-through, you said? Or
yeah. Well, you can also walk in.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think the walk-in was open. Yeah. I think partially.
And did they give you, like, a cup of lotion with your coffee, or what?
There was a little pump at the drive-through window.
Yeah, they give you a little paper shot glass. They're like, here, while you're handing us the money, you're free to...
Yeah, you get 15 seconds while I hand you a coffee.
Did you have to tip them, too?
Well, yeah. I mean, like...
Did you tip them more because they were showing themselves off, or what?
I don't think so. Yeah. I always default to 20%.
Was the coffee more expensive than another place?
No.
No, same
it's
price.
Cheaper than Starbucks.
Cheaper than Starbucks.
Which is
these people are
easy.
Going... Yeah. Wow.
But, yeah, no, I mean, like, it was cheaper. It was honestly, if I didn't care about the coffee as much, because I love the taste of coffee. So whenever it tasted bad, I'm like, yeah, probably not again.
Yeah.
If their coffee tasted better, I would probably go back just for the value. But at like 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like barely awake. I'm about to go into work.
And you just get assaulted with overstimulation.
I'm just like, ooh, I want to go see some titties at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
You know what I need right now? I need to see all these other half-awake, dead-eyed motherfuckers working their 9 to 5 at the half-nude coffee shop.
That's right.
Give me the nipple tassels. I'm working my shift today.
But I mean, like... I
don't...
To be greeted by someone with only tape over the nipples, like, I was like, oh.
I'd probably do the, like, double take. Like, is that something that I saw, or did I X-ray vision it?
Luckily, right, I think I was lucky, because I probably would have ended up doing that. But I have, first of all, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, there's no sunlight.
Yeah.
Second of all, I have slightly tinted windows, okay? So even if there was anything, right, and I saw them before I even...
I see.
I saw, like, I was like, wait, was she naked? Like, for a second there. Mm-hmm. But actually, she was.
Oh, that's just kind of strange. You know,
it is.
I wouldn't have thought that those would be here in the dead of winter.
Well, it's not like it's outside.
I mean, true, but they're still opening the window, right? I mean, at some point, you're going to pop those pieces of tape off and hit a customer's eye or something.
Yeah, but, I mean... You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, got to make money.
I'm sure they make a lot more money.
I hope they get paid. I really do hope they get paid good money for that. Because if the coffee costs less than Starbucks, I mean, Starbucks is already
where they're
paying
putting
you
their
minimum
money.
wage.
Yeah, they're putting their money into lawyers or whatever. But I mean, like,
whatever gets those people through college is what matters.
That's it.
Actually, college is useless. Don't go to college.
Yeah, well,
please. I don't want to be an advocate for that. that waste of time.
Wasn't there like a lady that like made like $3 million just being like as much whorish as possible?
Honestly, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
If you got the assets and people are buying, do it.
You might as well. I mean, like
life is too short.
You can take advantage.
I mean, there's a part of me that wants to say, you know, that it's not. I feel there's a whole bunch of traditionalness that battles with modernity.
Yeah.
I don't know what's right. All I know is that if your life would be better off if you had $75,000 in your bank account, then you need to do that.
Yeah.
Granted, you might lose some dignity along the way.
Dignity can be regained.
Some people might not view you the same way. It's all about how you view yourself.
It all can change. Yeah, exactly. You can view yourself in a better light than other people view you, and in a way that changes their perception. Because you're like, oh, but you're not as low class as I thought you were.
If you're being exploited, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you think the people that are buying your content are exploiting you, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you think that you would feel better if you hadn't done it, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not worth selling that aspect of yourself for it.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
If you want to be that person that instigates this story of two guys talking about it and go work at the barista shop, we've dedicated a lot of time to this.
We have.
Yeah. I mean...
It's a talking point.
It's weird.
You don't expect it.
It's not normal.
Yeah. It's normal to them.
Yeah. I mean, it's not... It's just not something you see.
I can't wait to drive up to my local Starbucks.
Yeah.
Nipple tassels.
Yeah.
And
Every
it's a
day.
dude.
Yeah.
Cock tassels.
So the second topic was YouTube.
Okay, so
unless you had something else you wanted to say about those breasts.
That's it.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah.
Okay.
So the other one was YouTube based. Okay. Now I, as a youngin, made a YouTube channel and had uploaded a few videos to it.
Okay.
Those videos I had found out years later without really looking into it or looking at them. I have a video labeled "How to Beat the Wall of Flesh, Terraria." Okay, this video got 13,000 views before I deleted it because it was from an old version of the game, and I said literally nothing, just had an inventory bar, and then told people to build a bridge, and that got 13,000 views. So the thing I wanted to bring up, we need to clickbait harder and just label this episode "How to Beat the Wall of Flesh."
With the latest update number.
Yeah. So Roving Slant, episode 5, 4, whatever. Yeah. How to Beat the Wall of Flesh, and people are like, oh, hey, there it is. And they'll look it up.
Yeah, that's true. We'll use the algorithm to our advantage. I'm sure we'll get a bunch of dislikes, but that's the cost. That's the price we pay to get this out there.
Every 10 dislikes is another viewer.
You know, I hope we have people that come, that play Terraria, listen to us talk about gooming and dopamine addiction, and they think, maybe I shouldn't be playing this game.
Yeah. Maybe the only wall of flesh I need to beat is the one that I'm going to push later.
Yeah. The one that I'm going to fight against. Maybe the wall of flesh that matters is the wall of flesh that I am. This indomitable force that I move on these legs unconsciously throughout the astral and etheric plane. Maybe that's the wall of flesh that I have to beat.
It's a metaphorical and a physical wall of flesh. What are we at?
We're at 132.
Damn.
Do you want to go get some coffee at that place you were talking about?
Yeah, dude, we could just let's head out, dude. I want to see some titties.
Okay. What size are you looking for?
Extra milk.
Let's talk about large coffee, bro. Jesus. It's late. And